One of the questions asked me quite frequently on tour is, why are there so many different bowling balls out there? Well, here to help me with that question is PBA Hall of Famer Mike Albee. You won last year's Bear Brunswick TPC. What do you think?
Well, with all of today's conditions, it varies so much, and the different types of bowlers we have out there, you need different balls to adjust to those lane conditions. And Brunswick has created a family of bowling balls by changing the cores and cover stocks to adjust to those lane conditions. They have balls that are very tame reactive to much more aggressive reactive bowling balls for today's market.
All right, well, what we have right now is we've got two lanes here, 25 and 26. Lane 25 is kind of a dry condition. Lane 26 is another condition. Now, Mike's got a couple of different bowling balls, and earlier we taped a few shots, and we'll show you exactly what these balls do on the different conditions.
Right, on lane 25, first of all, I'm going to use what is called a Deep Purple Rhino Pro. And this is a medium reactive ball that should be good for a drier lane condition. You watch the ball hook into the pocket. Next of all, I'll use a much more aggressive ball, which is a Speed Zone. Watch the same trajectory, and then the ball will be much more aggressive, will hook earlier, and cross over for a Brooklyn strike.
Well, Mike, you still struck, but...
Well, you can't be consistent doing that, Marshall. And on the drier condition, you want a ball that goes a little bit longer and gives you a medium directional change, so it's not a violent type reaction.
All right, now on the other lane, this lane has more oil on it, so we'll take a look and see exactly how the ball's reacted on the wetter lane.
First of all, I'll start with the speed zone, which, as I said, is a much more aggressive ball. You'll see the speed zone start to grab the lane, make a sharp turn right into the pocket flush.
Beautiful looking shot.
Now we switch to the Deep Purple Rhino Pro, which once again is the medium reactive ball, and watch it over the same trajectory.
Looks like it should recover.
Once again, it's not as aggressive, won't make the turn back. And on, like I said, on the oilier lanes, you want to use the much more aggressive ball, rolls a little bit sooner, makes a stronger change of direction for better pin carry.
All right, so we've shown you a few different things that you can use. This isn't everything in the order of bowling balls, but this should help you improve your average. Now, this is the last telecast of 1997. I'd like to thank Mike Albee for helping me out. Now, you be sure to join us next year in 1998, where I'll be back with some more average building.
Final score is Steve Hoskins definitely used the right ball. 232 to 218 over Doug Kent. That sets up his second match. Soft-spoken Dave Arnold, but look out, he can strike. We'll be right back after this. Dealers, but they also love the PBA. Well, we'll see if Dave Arnold loves this constant noise.
And it never looks as if anything ever bothers Dave Arnold. It's almost as if he's kind of asleep when he's out there, but boy, is he good. As you can see, Steve Hoskins, 2 strikes, 3 spares on 25. He had a lot of strikes, 4 of them on lane 26. And Mike, they're letting Steve finish on lane 26.
Well, watch Arnold, and he had a little trouble with this right lane. He was going high, so he liked the left lane a little better, it seemed like.
Not worrying about his opposition. As we can see, Dave Arnold, 6'3", very tall man, a very long reach. Helps to lay the ball's hook.
Carries the light hit. Dave, who at one time was voted the best spare shooter on tour.
Excellent spare shooter until he qualified third with a 223 plus average. And Dave has learned in the last couple of years how to be a little more versatile. He can hook the ball a lot more now than he did maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, seems like to survive out here, you got to have all the shots.
You have to be able to do both ways, both hooking it and throwing it straighter.
And he goes high on lane 25, leaves only the 6-pin. Good break there.
Was that the lane he liked?
That was the lane he supposedly liked, yes.
And we'll take a look at this pin action. Take a look at the pin action here, Mike, and really right on the nose. Very fortunate to just leave the 6-pin.
Easy spare. No trouble with it, but Hoskins stepping up frame 2 as the crowd starts chanting for Steve again.
Well, Dave Arnold leaves an opening very early for Steve Hoskins to try and jump through.
Hoskins doing nothing but strikes. And a few weeks ago in Rochester, New York, he did nothing but throw strikes there either.
Come on.
Take a look at Steve Hoskins. This is for 300, folks. He couldn't believe it. Well, he believes it now.
He's not superstitious. He's wearing a different shirt.
It says he has no superstitions.
Second last week. Third telecast of the fall. Trying for win number 2 here tonight.
That ball was inside of his target, and it actually went longer down the lane because he pulled it into a little bit of an oil area. Still had enough energy to get back and strike. Take a look how deep that was inside the 4th arrow, Mike. But it's still, he has enough power. That's what the big hook players can do. They can pull it into the oil where some guys would pull it and they'd miss the head pin. Steve's ball recovers because he's got a lot of fingers.
Dave Arnold trying to ignore all that. Says, I carry that late hit too.
Great shot from Dave Arnold.
What you folks at home missed is this. We take a look at the scoreboard, see Arnold behind by 20 pins. But as Marshall was explaining all that to me, he was using his hands to demonstrate too. And I could see them, but I know that you couldn't there. And
Mike,
your living room.
I cannot talk without the hands. I mean, it's the part of the whole
I understand,
mechanism
Marshall.
here.
I just find it so
hey, it's worked for John Madden.
Oh, a little trip of the 4-pin, late trip there.
Well, a good break for Dave. We'll take a look at Dave Arnold's ball coming in just ever so high, but gets the nice kick off the sideboard. 4 pins gone, and we'll see if he shows some emotion for us. Oh, yeah.
He likes that tomahawk action, right?
Likes it any way he can get it, Mike.
Hoskins trying for 4 in a row.
Not bad.
Not bad, but he doesn't trip the 4.
Well, that's good. You know, he threw the shot. He liked the way he threw it. It reacted a little bit high, left a 4-pin, but he said that's okay. It was a good shot. And look at the difference between his high game of 288 and his low game of 147.
Oh, and a big error by Steve Hoskins.
There's a mental mistake. And, you know, Mike, last week in the final match of the roll-off in Virginia Beach, he missed the 10-pin. And now here he misses the 4-pin. Will it cost him? Well, we'll have to wait and find out. But that is just he knows, just a dumb mistake. Really puts Dave Arnold in a very strong position, leading by 3 pins.
So how do you put that behind you?
Well, you've got to be able to forget about it. And it's not like Steve's never missed a spare before. He knows how to strike a lot.
Help me out. Come on. Give me a little help.
I think he forgot about it.